It's like, when I look at the way some of these politicians do it, I laugh, because it's like some of them still live in the past. You see some people going too hasty, and in the process, they've overspoken their intention, and they have nothing to say anymore. And people are now beginning to ask them questions, and they are losing ideas. And some are just calm because they know, well, we still have a lot of time. Some have spent money, and now they are already asking. They are
blowing out.
They are blowing out. So these are things that they are not really, they've not really adjusted to the new law. They still do things in the old way.
It's not a marathon.
And reality is beginning to set.
It's not a sprint.
It's no longer a sprint like before. It's not a fire brigade thing again. You now know how to be strategic. And any candidate that is not strategic enough ahead of the next election may just have himself or herself to blame.
Yeah, but when we talk about these issues, I will need you to, you've talked about, the position we are, the state we are in this country. Those are the issues we should be speaking to. But in your opinion, what are the non-issues, and are they really non-issues?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing like non-issues. Anything raised is important. There's a reason why it was raised. Like what was in the media 2-3 days ago about a judgment concerning a particular candidate. There was heavy debate. Lawyers were throwing it, going back and front. Of course, lawyers will always argue whether within the court or outside of the court. Of course, it has attracted the attention of people. And of course, those who are following the particular candidates, will have to wait to, let me also look into this issue and be sure that, yes, I'm following the right person, or I'll be able to market this particular candidate.
Mr. Badejiko, just give us a moment. Let's take this quick break.
Our new toothpaste, Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection.
Why are we changing our toothpaste?
Because with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, I can be sure your teeth are cavity-free.
When you brush daily with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, its expert formula locks natural calcium in our teeth and helps protect them from cavity. Colgate is the world's most chosen toothpaste.
Colgate locks calcium in,
Keeps cavities out!
Thank you so much for staying with us. The conversation continues this morning as we warm up, the political landscape warms up towards the 2023 general elections. What we talked about this morning is 2023. Where is the issue-based campaign? And of course, our very first guest in the studio with us is Mr. Badejiko Adesumbo. Yes, as our elections over the years, have they been really issue-based? If we look back at the aborted Third Republic, then this Republic, and then probably the Second Republic. If we take a look at those,
they've always been a mix of issues and, of course, sentiments. If we go back to the First Republic, you see the obvious sentiments. You see the issues being unity of Nigeria, regionalism, federalism, and all of that were some of the things. And of course, it's bringing ethnic policy. It's not for the North. Second Republic, you have something so close to that, even though we had a new system in place then, we changed the dimension. Now, Third Republic, you still have a blend of it. I think if you want to really look at the aborted Third Republic, that was when the core issue. We could say that particular dispensation, probably because there were limited options. We have just two parties to choose from. And we know that these ones are conservative, these ones are, what is it called now? They are progressives. And everybody look at it, okay, let's go for the progressive. No, we believe in conservative ideas. So the whole nation was divided along the two ideas. So that's then institute a kind of issue-based politics. The manifestos were defined, and the campaign too followed the pattern of the manifestos. But fast forward to this current dispensation, beginning from 1999, of course, the first election was conducted by the military. a lot of people still do not have the confidence in what was going on. Some people, drew
Stayed
back.
away.
They wanted to really know whether the military is serious at handing over or not. And they began to come back when we have actually enjoyed like 4 years and the next election is coming up. But of course, their staying away affected the pattern in a way because they are experienced Democrats who could have really,
Added
give
value.
a solid foundation. There's adding value to the way we are starting then. But they stayed away, and of course, they allow the money bags and the military goons to do it the way they liked. So they are now just coming back to come and do damage control, which is not really helping the nation because at the end of the day, it is the people. It's all about the people. It's like their lives that will be affected. And that's why we kind of find ourselves in the mess that we had now. And currently, you see some of them speaking to the issues. I want to give kudos to the media because the media has been kind of, playing that moderation role, trying to bring the politician back to
Agenda
the right
setting.
to the right path. Yes, setting the but Nigerians want to know how, not what you will do, but how you intend to do it. Of course, that is the way to go because it is the how that matters, not the what.
I will.
Anybody can say, I will do this, but how do you intend to do it? It is when you begin to tell us the how, that is when people will know that, yes, you actually understand the issues and you have the idea of how to go about it. But when you say, I will do this, you are just speaking to the what, then you're going to confuse the people the more, especially when your antecedent is speaking contrary to what you are now saying. Or there are no record proving to the fact that you are actually
Capacity.
experienced or you have the capacity to do this thing that you're saying. So these are what is currently going on. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, that the time frame is there, but the reality is beginning to set in now.
Well,
It's beginning to set in.
It's such an interesting thought that you pushed out there. But we also do have to say that, do you think that Nigerians are truly desirous of the how that you are talking about now, or they are more interested in the sentiments? Let me explain what I'm trying to talk about. If you look at the narratives now, there's the Emilio Kon narrative, there's the zoning narrative, there's the religious narrative. We've seen candidates come out and say, look, because I'm a northerner, you should vote for me. We've seen Afenifere even, endorse. We've seen two different endorsements. One they say is based on fairness and equity, but this is coming from, or rather, the endorsement is going to somebody from the southeast. The other faction is going to somebody from the southwest. Those are the things that Nigerians are hearing right now. Are we really ready to interrogate how they are going to deal with the issues, or the sentiments are swaying people?
What is seems to be having sway now is the sentiments. But along the line, it will begin to fizzle down because talk about the religious same faith ticket that you kind of mentioned. When it occurred, there was uproar everywhere. But now, what has become of it? People are beginning to calm down. And when people ask me, I've been a Christian myself, and of course, those that are very close to me know where I stand. And they were beginning to question me that, with this, do I still believe this thing? And I said, come. It's a dust. It will settle with time. And when it settles, we begin to see clearly. And as this dust was settling, people now begin to okay, it's not really that. And I said, well, these are politicians. The whole thing is about the struggle for power. And we are dealing with a desperado generation who will do anything possible, humanly possible, to achieve their aim. So whatever you see them doing, you need to try and understand the reason why they're doing it. And it is only that your own sentiments will now be put to check. But if you don't calm down to really investigate why they are doing this thing, you will go blown away by sentiments. And of course, we've allowed sentiments to determine some elections in the past. And we did not really benefit anything.
Have we learned anything?
Well, it appears for now that we have not really learned much. But that's why people like us are trying to use the little opportunity that we have to tell people that, come, let's not be too biased, let's not be too sentimental. You know, it's something that determines our future that we're discussing here. And this next election is kind of unique in so many ways. For instance, whether or not we will still be in one country is going to determine it. If we make the right choice, we'll remain together. If we make the wrong ones, the agitations that we're currently having, regional agitation, secession, and all of that, will get escalated. And it may go out of control. The state of insecurity may get escalated if we make the wrong choice. Because these are things that should really concern us. Because what if a bag of rice is sold at 8,000 naira and the thing is no longer available, or you can't even go out to the market to buy it when there is problem everywhere? So these are some of the things that we really need to be looking at. And whatever goes up, even if it's going to come down, it's not going to drop down like that. It's still come down gradually, especially when it comes to prices of commodities. Some factors, market factors or forces, pushed it up before. It is the same forces that will bring it down. And it's not going to be an instant thing. It's going to be a product of measures. Now, who among these people will put these measures in place that will naturally make things to calm down? So this sentiment seems to be having a sway. That's why I said I give credit to the media by trying to really push the people's attention away a bit from the sentiments that come. Let's not be blindfolded by what these people are saying or what the narratives that some politicians are trying to push up to their own advantage. Because when somebody says, no, you can't, I'm one Nigeria because I am married from all the parts of the country, you begin to, wait, it is not that will determine whether you are one Nigeria. It is the impact that you have made in all the regions that really will determine. How many companies do you have? Because as someone who is vying for the post of the president, must be someone with some economic capacity to that extent.
Couldn't that possibly, touch a raw nerve with some people too and connect?
Of course it will, but, Nigerians are angry because of what they are currently going through. And now, one thing with anger is that it has a way of blindfolding you from reality. And that's why you see an average angry person is a semi-mad person, misbehaves, they're out of control. It is until the anger is taken away. That is when the senses comes back and they look at the extent of what their anger has destroyed and they begin to feel sorry.
Remorse.
Yes.
Now, I asked that question in view of the model that you referenced, the U.S. model, that something like we will practice here, elected a character like Donald Trump. He got elected. A lot of push. He got elected. And this same man ended up trying to upstage the entire system. What does that tell us about democracy itself?
Well, it tells you that, of course, because it's democracy, you would once in a while have personality or characters like that coming on board. The only thing that rescued the U.S. was the institutions that they have in place. That is what we are yet to have as a nation.
Are we evolving?
We are evolving.
Positively?
Positively. The only thing, why some people may not believe we are, is because of the speed of the evolution is very, very slow. And that's why people are not really feeling it like that. But we are actually evolving. And if you look at our election year in, year out, there has been some kind of improvements per year. But because the game is not always about the referee, it's about the players. So no matter the rules you put in place, if the players are not ready to play by the rules, the referee becomes incapacitated.
If we look at, the primaries, first of all, as, some sort of a mini election, when we look at the behavior of the political actors during the primaries, the way money played a huge role, and, the horse trading that we saw there, and we put it into the bigger picture of elections. Now, are we looking at a situation now where we are going to see perhaps almost the same kind of sentiment and behavior that played out during the primaries, during the main elections?
Considering the time frame, like I mentioned.
I'm sorry, I do beg your pardon.
Okay.
Let's take a quick break right now.
Thank you so much for staying with us. The conversation continues. Before we went to that break, Mr. Adesumbo, your train of thought.
Yes, I was talking about looking at the character, the kind of character that our primaries took, and how this may, really form.
Yes. I was trying to say that
the actions.
Considering the time frame.
Yeah.
That's what the intention of some people will be. But their reality is setting in. Those, whatever cash they have reserved for vote buying, they will spend on campaign. They will spend on media advertisement. They will spend on logistics for their rallies. And by the time the election now proper comes up, they have little or nothing to buy votes with. So eventually, that plan may not work. That's why if Nigerians should really have confidence in this election that your vote will count. Have that assurance.
But keep in mind the security situation with regards to what's going on in INEC offices right now. INEC may have to take a lot of decisions. They are going to have an emergency meeting, but these are actions that must have been taken by politicians.
Well,
right
those
now.
who are behind that act, I want to say on live TV that, they made a mistake. If truly they want to stop the election by destroying INEC property and preventing people from having their PVC, they should have waited till January. Now, security will be beefed up in all INEC facilities. If I were the president, I would declare from yesterday curfew around INEC offices with a shoot-at-sight order on anybody.
65,000 PVCs in Ogun State alone.
But the thing is, it is not the fresh registration, because as far as I know, the PVC that are currently with INEC in those offices
unclaimed ones?
They are the unclaimed ones.
Okay.
So not the fresh issues. So probably those ones will not really have owners as we speak. So that's just the hope that is there, that I'm putting forward, because the newly produced cars are yet to get to the local government. That's why I said those who carried out that act are probably not informed. They were too hasty, and they've really shot themselves in the legs.
All right, we are out of time, but we say big thank you to you, Mr. Adesumbo Badejuku, for talking to us this morning on AM 120. Let's take a break.